Alright, today I'm gonna be remaking this lot in Windenburg that's in my World Overhaul save file. I'm doing it because, I thought that this Christmas build would be really cute and like having a Christmas themed family would be really adorable, but I think that this space is just so pretty and I'd rather use it for something that fits this world more. Like this house sticks out like a sore thumb on the map and all of that. Like it is really cute. Like the inside is pretty good, but it's so small and I feel like I can just make something a lot nicer on this space, so that's what we're going to be doing today. Alright, so now we're into the speed build part of this video. As you can see here, I've kind of already laid out some of the terrain and stuff. I didn't really want to record that since it can be a pain to figure out. So I'm kind of going off of a few different pictures of cottages that I found on Pinterest. And I wanted there to be like this small stream with like a little bit of a waterfall on it, and it ends up looking so nice. I can't even believe how nice it looks. And the cottage itself is actually like I almost feel guilty about like making basically just a box, but honestly like it works so well. Like it looks basically like exactly what I wanted it to look like based on some of the other builds that I saw. So I'm not like a fan of doing box builds like this, but if it looks true to that kind of style, so I was pretty happy about it. The windows and doors on this build were something really hard to figure out. I kind of just limited my packs in order to try to like find what worked, and I use a lot of get together in this build, which you might have guessed, but I end up going like way darker than I was going to because I was like, oh yeah, I want to do like a cottage core type thing because I had no idea how much I like this aesthetic, but I really like it. I'm not one of those people that like obsesses over it and is like everything is cottagecore, but I appreciate the aesthetic. So I kind of wanted to try to achieve that with this build. So I started off with like really light and airy colors, but it slowly evolved to be way darker color scheme, but then on the inside it still feels airy because of the wallpapers that I pick. But everything is like dark frames and stuff, which I wasn't thinking I was gonna go for. But yeah, you'll see for in a second here what kind of colors I end up choosing. And that bowling night, I think, like rock wallpaper is like the perfect texture, but just it has weird tinges on it. So I didn't really know where to go with that, so I use this vampires wallpaper instead. This build, I would say, has like quite a bit of like a fantasy vibe to it as well. I don't show all the landscaping because that would be like a 5-hour long video. It's so much landscaping, I can't even begin to describe how long that it took. But I end up putting in like a little fairy garden type idea and a picnic area and a back garden and a front garden. And yeah, it's definitely like I really wanted to go very heavy on the flowers and stuff like that. I think it looks really nice, and yeah, you can see here that I'm starting to make everything darker framed, and I do a lot of blue accents as well. You can see with the door, I changed the door so it's not blue, but I liked the way it looked with the color scheme I had going on, so I kept it and kind of moved it into the house. And I wish you could make columns actually go like shorter than they can go, like than the smallest wall height, because I think that would be so good for just like supporting like lower roofs or even like lining on half walls. I think that would just be like so good because sometimes the half walls just like have that weird top part that juts out. I don't know if you know what I mean, but there's like a little bit of a ledge, and if you could cover that up with like a column, like a thicker column, and just make it shorter, I think that would look so nice. And I feel like they could do that. I feel like, yeah, Sims team, if you ever come across this somehow, can we get columns that can go shorter as well? Because I like that they can go taller now, but that would be really great. And yeah, on the front, I didn't want there to be a huge deck. I thought just having like a little bit of a step would be enough. And yeah, I wanted like these cascading stairs. And there's like a lot of ways that you can kind of walk around this build with the way that I do the stairs and everything. And yeah, you'll see later kind of what I mean by like the accessibility of the build, because I had like the fountain is all the way in the front, and I was actually concerned that with the terrain edit, Sims might not be able to even get into the door, because you can't actually get up that back cliff where like the back garden's gonna be. But it does work. It does. Don't worry. It's just I was concerned about that when I was building. Yeah, and I really wanted to make this like waterfall area really overgrown. Definitely very natural. Like this place is like really old, and maybe just recently someone's kind of cleaned up the outside of like the actual cottage building. And I even put like a few cracks here and there inside the cottage because I wanted it to look like the space was like old and it's like a historical house. And I think that yeah, the garden helps achieve that look, but also the inside with some of the older furnishings and stuff definitely looks like that. Yeah, so here I'm just doing some like terrain editing. You can kind of see how I go about like putting some shrubbery. I could have done a lot more, but I'm glad I didn't, because by the time I finished this house and I do the walkthrough, you'll see it's pretty laggy. And that's just because there's so much stuff in this save file and in this build. And yeah, I'm playing on a laptop, so it just can't handle that. I think for some people, this should be a very manageable save file to run. I try to keep most of my builds like medium full, not way too full, in order to combat that lag. Also, if you just download this build off the gallery, which it is on the gallery, I think it's called Cranberry Cottage, under my username whimreaper, it'll be in the description as well. If you download it, then it should be fine. Like, it's not that crowded of a build, and you could delete some flowers and stuff if you were really concerned about that. And it is an expensive build. And the reason I'm saying this is because, like, to kind of get some of the theme that I do in this house, like, what I'm kind of thinking of as I'm building this huge house, like, it doesn't look big, but it is, and putting in lots of expensive decorations and stuff, I'm thinking it's like a historical home. And I watched a lot of shows which show how like historical homes are maintained and like how the owners have to have them at a certain level, and that it can be really expensive even if the house is super cheap itself. Like, it might cost relatively little money to buy the house, but then to keep it in its condition it's really expensive. So kind of like I was going with that kind of a theme. So I think that the person who lived here, I realistically, not ideally, but would rent out a lot of the rooms. So all the rooms I've made in this house are for adults. You could easily change them to be for kids, but I thought it made the most sense with this kind of style, with everything being on the second floor and third floor. Like, I think that it might be like kind of nice for students to rent out from someone who is more wealthy and owns the home but might not be able to afford the upkeep on their own necessarily. And yeah, I'm doing the back garden here. I loved that curved wall from Debug. I used quite a few Debug objects in this build, but it kept the cost down, so that's why. And yeah, that gate didn't want to go anywhere else, so there's a little gap there with a birdhouse. And yeah, this is kind of like how you get to this area. There will be some stairs here, and then you walk along. I'm gonna make, yeah, you see that platform edge there in order to get to the front door. And yeah, I think that it ends up looking really good with all the cliffs. I usually try to get rid of that rock, but I thought that if I just embraced that, it might be better. Also, this terrain paint I'm doing here, I end up changing that off camera a little bit too. It's basically the same, but it deleted itself, so it might look a little bit different if you download the build. Not too terribly different though. You'll see at the end as well with the walkthrough. Yeah, and then there was that cute little goblet thing from the Debug from Realm of Magic. And I just thought it would be so cute to put plants in there. I don't think I found it. Oh, yeah, I did. Okay, yeah, I put this in here. And I don't know if I do this now or later. Yeah, I put a whole bunch, and at first it looks like they kind of like clip too much, but if you go into live mode, they actually look fine. So I thought that was really cute, little planter kind of idea. Like I don't know how realistic that would be to be able to do that with plants in real life, but I thought it looked good, and that was basically good enough for me. And yeah, I just added those on the inside because I'm like, this is really just a big rectangle. I want it to be a little bit more interestingly shaped. Um, and yeah, I think that's a good tip in general when you're building, is if you want something to be more interesting, cut out a few sections. You don't need to use all of the space, especially if it's a big house. It can be intimidating enough as it is to furnish. You can just leave that space empty for a while, and then maybe if you're playing your family and they have another kid, or if like you get pets, then you can change that into a toddler room, a cat room, like little area for new skills that they might be building. And the stairs in this house, they were something. I had to actually change the complete second floor of this house because I didn't realize that the stairs, they just didn't like the floor plan I came up with, apparently. But I think that you don't actually see any of the original second floor because my OBS decided to freak out on me and didn't record me making any of the second floor. So you'll see it in the reveal. It'll be like the final look and it'll look a little bit strange. But yeah, the reason for that is because the stairs. And after building this house for about 4 hours, I was done with it and didn't want to redo the stairs. So that's why it ends up being the way it is. It doesn't look bad, it just looks like it wasn't intended to look like that. And I think you'll see what I mean in the reveal. Also, I apologize if it's like shows the saving screen. That's a technical thing that I'm not going to get into, but basically I have to show that in order for me to record more than like an hour at a time. And yeah, this front area here is going to be our like mud room. I wouldn't call it a mud room, maybe like a foyer entryway. There is like spots to put your boots and your coats and things, but it's not like a mud room in that kind of way. Like, it's a little fancier. It's a little bit overdone, I would say, actually. There's quite a few expensive things in this little entryway, but I think it's cute. I didn't want to put a bathroom in this area. This was the only other place I could have put a bathroom. You'll see where the bathroom does end up. But yeah, I didn't want it there because I thought that would be, well, first of all, it would be a tiny wash closet. And second of all, it would just, yeah, it just wouldn't make sense with the layout, like it wouldn't be as accessible. I don't know why I just wandered there for a second, but we're all good. We're back. We're back in action. Sometimes that do happen though. But yeah, I'm doing the vampires flooring. Yeah, I don't use this floor all that much. It is kind of dark. Yeah, like I didn't actually expect to make everything as dark as I did, but it happened. So yeah, there's that. But yeah, I wanted to talk about the bathroom. Now that you can see this, the reason I use this bookcase here is because I want there to be a fireplace on this section here, which you can see. But realistically, if that's like where the inside of the fireplace is, like where the chimney goes, there's not going to be a room back there. At least in an old house like this, there wouldn't be. So I put the bookshelf there because I thought, like, then I could put the bathroom back in there and utilize that space. But at the same time, it wouldn't look weird, like you have an entrance into the back of your fireplace. It just looked like a little bit of a thinner bookshelf there. And I do make this blue at first, and I don't know if I show me changing my mind, but I end up changing it because it just ends up being so dingy and dark and like, yeah. I don't know, I feel like this build, if anything, like the lesson is just keep changing things until you're happy with it. Because for me, like, I try to be that person that's like, oh yeah, boop, 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 done. It looks good. But I'm not. I can't be that person. And even to the point where I realized, you know what? I don't have to be so realistic to the point where I put the same brick that's on the outside of the house into the inside, because it didn't match the whimsical feel I wanted. The outside is a little bit what is it, gothic, and the inside is more cottagecore for sure. Like the outside doesn't look entirely cottagecore except for like the flowers and stuff. But the inside, I'm like, well, if I lighten it up, it doesn't have to look 100% realistic. People aren't going to look at the brick on the inside and be like, that's not realistic. I don't think so anyway. Like, I know some people are like that. They're like, oh, well, I would have expected the same brick throughout. Like, but for me, I just thought it made more sense because that brick didn't look good on the outside. I tested it before I started recording. And this brick didn't look good on the inside. So, you know, live your best life. Don't let people tell you what to do. I don't know. But, yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of losing the plot a little bit here because, I just get flustered and defensive, I guess. But that's for another time, maybe. And, yeah, in here, I wanted to do, like, Realm of Magic. Realm of Magic is great for this kind of build, but the problem is the wood tones are, like, white, black, weird orangey brown, and then, like, one cream swatch. And then I'm like, there are no, like, really dark wood swatches. Well, there are, but it's, like, almost black, and I didn't want it that dark. So it was a shame because I really like the shape of that couch, but we did get the, like, I don't know how to pronounce this, the chaise, whatever, that lounge from Vampires, and I think that worked really well too, but I would have preferred the other one. Have you guys watched Rachel Maxey, I think? Then her couch, that's basically like my couch dreams. I'll put a picture up if I can find a picture, but that's what I wanted to go for, but blue. And I don't, yeah, the Sims doesn't have that, so rip. I don't have custom content in my game. I try to make CC free builds, at least definitely for when I'm making stuff for the channel. I might end up using a little bit in my free time once I'm done my overhaul save file, but I don't see that being anytime soon since The Sims insists on releasing packs just as I'm finishing my save file, like every time. They're like, oh, you just finished? Great, well now here's more work, but I mean, I'm doing it to myself, really. I have no one to blame but me, but sometimes I just feel like blaming The Sims for everything. Just a little. Not quite, but yeah, you know. I actually do like the blue wallpaper now that I'm looking at it, but it is not the vibes, if you know what I mean. I'm like, this is not really cottagecore at this point. Like, I like this, but it's not what I wanted. So, I changed it. And yeah, curtains. My goodness. CC curtains are definitely on my list of CC to get if I'm gonna do CC. Because I just, oh, they're so bad. Even if you size them up or down, it's like, this, what window is this supposed to go on? Like, I just don't get it. I really don't, you guys, but, yeah, I'm just planting everything up in here because I thought, yeah, it would really benefit from that. I changed the lighting as well because this lighting is just too dank. Like, what do I expect is from the Vampires pack? But it just didn't look great, and I didn't like the wall sconces because I'm like, I'm not going to use these anywhere else in the house. It's just because this room is too big. And then eventually I end up using some cheaper and also nicer looking lighting, and I do use that walling from Country Kitchen Kit, is that what it's called, throughout the house, and I do use a lot of Country Kitchen in the kitchen, who would have thought, but I'd say even if you don't have this pack, this build is fine for you, like this kit, I mean, because I basically only use it in the kitchen and for the wall, so if you can come up with a wall swatch that you like, and you can replace the kitchen stuff, then this will still work perfectly fine for you. I didn't put it too much everywhere because I was kind of conscious of the fact that some people really don't want to pay that much for a kit or just don't like country kitchen stuff or whatever. So, yeah, I just put it in this room basically. I really, really like, oh, that corner shelf. You kind of just have to fiddle. Like, I don't know how to give you advice for doing this because you're not supposed to be able to do this, but I just fiddled with it until it finally snapped, and then I just left it there because I liked how it looked. I kind of don't like, the only thing I'd say in this kit that I don't like, and this is gonna sound so random, is the right edge cabinet for above. Like, I kind of showed it there for a second. It had the curtains on it, and it's not the curtains that are the problem, it's the height. It's lower than the other cabinets, which I don't get. Like, I kind of get the other ones don't have doors on, and maybe that's why they're higher up, but like, it just looks strange. Like, I wish it was either all of them were longer or that one was a little bit shorter, because like, I don't know, it's jarring. Not jarring, I'm sounding so dramatic. Oh, it's jarring. It's like half an inch longer than the other counters. But like, I don't know. I just don't like it personally. It's not my favorite. And yeah, you see here I change up the entire color scheme and I just go, oh, I feel like I can breathe in this house now. I would live in this house in real life, you guys. Like, no lie, I would live here. It's so nice. Like, I wouldn't be able to afford it. Heck no. I wouldn't get roommates either because that's not a thing that I'm willing to do. But I would live here in my dream world until I change my mind about what kind of house I want in the future. But yeah, I really liked those vampire chairs, and then I realized how thick they are. They are thick boys. Like, if you put your hand around that in real life, that would be like half a Subway sandwich. I don't know why I'm using measurements like this now. But it would. It would be like thick. Like, I've never seen a chair that thick in real life, so I decided to go with these cats and dog seats, which at first I couldn't decide if I liked because of the yellow seat, but I think that little pop of color that isn't blue in the house really did bring it to life a little bit more. Like, I was getting a bit over, what is it called? Overexcited about my color scheme and forgot that other colors existed. And upstairs you'll see that I kind of stray off of the palette that I have going in the rest of the house, and then I do a much more varied color scheme in the bathrooms and the bedrooms and stuff. And I liked those curtains until I realized that who the heck would cover up those windows with curtains? They are beautiful the way they are. And now that I just saw that eco lifestyle plant flash by, like the one on a trellis, I'm like, why didn't I use that? The more that you that you rewatch your stuff, you're like, oh, why didn't I use that? I pulled it out. I think I just wanted to use it not in this room is the thing, and then I never remember to bring it back. But yeah, missed opportunity. And I also put 2 of those herb racks in the kitchen because I just like how they look. I'm like, yep, we're gonna have 2 of those. You're gonna have fresh herbs for days, my boy. But yeah. I really like this section here too. I'm like, oh, I like this, as if I'm like, I didn't build it, but whatever. This can be my narcissist hour. I really like that shelf because you can like grab your gardening stuff and go outside, and I think that is really, like, I don't know, I like putting in little realistic details. I'm like talking about how, like, who cares if the brick doesn't match, who cares if there's a bathroom behind the fireplace, but then I'm like, oh, but having a watering can. I don't know, I'm inconsistent and I acknowledge it. And yeah, this is the last little bit of the speed build before I go into the camera view, because like I said, the second floor did not want to record. And we're doing a little bathroom up here for the person who would live on the 3rd floor to not have to go down to the 2nd floor in the middle of the night. And we're doing, of course, a bedroom across from that. And also a little bit of a skill building area up there. And this bathroom is not meant to look fashionable. Let me just say that. Is not meant to be like, ooh, that's such a luxurious bathroom. It's meant to be like, this probably is what it mostly looked like when the house was built, and they just replaced some of the fittings and stuff, because I like builds that like do put in like more modern stuff, but I didn't want it to be with this build. I just wanted it to be 100% cottage all the time. And yeah, and also in this bedroom, I started doing it that yellow tone and I really liked it. And then I'm like, but we literally have pastel colors in every other bedroom. I want this to be more dark academia, dark cottage core, I guess you might say. Because like not everyone who wants to rent a house is gonna want like flower wallpaper and like beautiful whimsical curtains and flowers everywhere. I do put like that teacup decoration, mostly because I just wanted to use it. But I thought it would be nice to have a little bit of a difference to this room, just so that it would be more versatile for people wanting to rent, especially for guys, because I feel like the other rooms could be a little bit girly for some guys' taste. Not that no guys could live there, just that, it's not, probably not their first choice. But yeah, this is basically it, and I'm gonna go right into the walkthrough. I think it looks great. I think it looks a lot better than what it was before. I've definitely improved as a builder, but yeah, I think that it just fits the world better in general. Like the Christmas build idea was kind of cute, but I don't know why I decided it would be a good idea to keep in the overhaul save file. This is the front of the house. It has this lovely pond. Your sim won't actually be able to cross the little bridge that I've put out front, but I thought that it was cute, and we're gonna go over it. You can just walk around it though, it works fine. I've tested the build out and everything. So yeah, you just walk across the little bridge here. I have this little area over here. I didn't build this part on camera, but I thought it would be cute to put in a little fairy circle there with some glowing mushrooms and some regular mushrooms, and a fountain from Realm of Magic, and that beautiful hanging wisteria trellis from Cats and Dogs. I always want to say Pets, but that's a Sims 3 one. And yeah, it's a huge yard actually for this little cottage, but I think that it works pretty well. There's stairs over here so that you can get up to the front step, and you can also walk straight around to the back if you wanted to, but I'm gonna go on the front door. I also did put out this little picnic area with a goblet of flowers kind of, and I think that looks super cute. It's autumn in my game, so it looks a little bit different from when I was building it, but I think it's still cute, and I kind of wanted it to look good in autumn as well. The bin is out back, but we have our little mailbox, our little door, and you walk into the front entrance here and you have all of your storage, all of your coats, and it's just nice and cozy. You immediately get like the vibe of it being like a cottage, but like a nice cottage. Like I want this place to kind of look like an old historical vibe where, yeah, the lady or man living here might be renting out rooms. So yeah, here is the sitting area. It isn't very full, but I didn't want this place to be ridiculously expensive. It's over 100,000, so yeah, that's why I think it would be a good place for like Sims to share by renting. And we have our lovely kitchen kit right here, and I love it so much. I was so happy when I realized that this would be the perfect kitchen set to use. Obviously, if you don't have the kit, then everything is gonna need to be replaced, but it's a very simple layout. I think like it's not gonna be hard to recreate. And yeah, there's a big window, big stained glass window out into the back garden. You can enjoy that. We have our cozy little dining table. I like the contrast between the kind of more country looking chairs and then the more Realm of Magic kind of table. And then there's this nice little sitting area over here where you can just enjoy the kind of sunroom-esque windows on here. I left them mostly clear except for this lantern because I kind of wanted to imagine that a sim might be able to sit on the edge of the window and chat here as well. It's a very communal type dining area. And then out by the back garden we have these gardening tools and a little sun hat and a little shawl, probably just to keep you warm in case you forgot one. And then you come over here and it's just one step down into the garden with the gate. There's a birdhouse there. I put some plants into these boxes. It is autumn, so it won't let me plant them in my game, but if you download this build and it's like summer for you, then you could go ahead and plant them. We're gonna head up the stairs. This is the part of the video that I didn't record because yeah, of course it didn't, but I did have to make changes to this part anyway. Like, this part here might look super empty, and that's because Sims couldn't route and I had to fix it. Also, I'm gonna have to fix the fence there because oops, I didn't remember that I moved that to try to fix the routing issues. But yeah, so this room ended up being a lot smaller, but yeah, if you're renting it out, it would be like the cheap room probably. It used to have a desk, but it can't fit it anymore. This room looks a lot bigger in this view, but trust me, it is tiny. So yeah, this would be like a fairly affordable room, I'm guessing. This whole landing area too is like a skill building kind of central area. The piano works even with the plants on it and with the light or layout and stuff. And then of course we have a balcony here. I like the roof coming over it kind of low, definitely reminiscent of old cottages. And the camera really doesn't like it up here, but you can see the beautiful river and our Sim coming back from his jog. And over here is another room. Yeah, there's a lot of bedrooms in this house, and that is because I thought it would be a nice boarding house. This one is really cute, really light and sweet. Some blue and pink themes in here. And then we have an archaeology table because I thought, well, it's like a historical house, so kind of makes sense to have an archaeology table. Maybe a history sim would be living here, and an older kind of style computer. And then this is the biggest bedroom by far. I love it. It's super cozy, super cute, definitely cottage core a little bit. The blue isn't quite, but I really liked the blue theme throughout the house. And yeah, you could have a couple living in this room, but that's the only room really that you can. And yeah, your office here, and then upstairs is the final bedroom and bathroom. Oh, I didn't show you the bathroom down here. This is actually the best bathroom in the house, so I should probably do that. This also used to be a lot bigger but had to shrink down, but it's still very spacious. It's got a nice luxurious bath, separate shower, toilet, sink, everything you need. I think it looks quite good. It's a very cool toned bathroom, but I'm okay with that. And then we come up the stairs here, and you have a small landing that is glitched. That won't affect your Sims coming up here. That's just because of the camera view, which likes to do that. And then we have a woodworking table here. Doesn't make a lot of sense to be here, but I needed to fill the space with something. And then we have this bathroom up here. And yeah, it's not as nice, but at least the person living on this floor then will be able to have very quick access to a bathroom. And they will have like kind of a red themed room. There's a bit of a hallway, and then you come in and you have this realm of magic kind of bed and cats and dogs themed. And yeah, this room has a lot of packs in it, but I think it looks really cute, and I think this would be very suited for a male sim because the other rooms are a bit more light and pastel. Of course, like a guy could go in those rooms too, but I just thought it would be nice to have like a bit of a more like dark cottage themed room because the other ones are so light. So yeah, I'm gonna come up through the roof, and that is the build. You can see kind of like a nice overview of it here. Again, it's autumn, so the trees look kind of nasty. It's a little bit creepy looking, but I think in summer and spring, this would just be absolute height of cottagecore vibes, which I am realizing I liked a lot more than I thought I did. If you want to see more builds, please comment down below what kind of thing you would want to see. Again, I mentioned in another video, if you wanted me to do a series or a one-off or whatever of me renovating some of your builds that you think could just use like a little bit more practicality, a little bit more pizzazz, je ne sais quoi of some sort, then comment down below and we will work something out between us. to do that because I think that would be a really fun series. And yeah, as always, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Like and subscribe if you feel like it. And yeah, I hope to see you in another video. Goodbye!